Rocket fire.
Good morning. I'd like to call the Public Works Services Committee to order for November the 26th. We'll bow for the invocation. Lord Jesus, we come to you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for this time of year and Thanksgiving and the many blessings that you've given us. And Lord, we just ask you to listen and reflect on those blessings. And Lord, know that they come from you. Lord, we lift up Ridley family this morning as they going through some times with the funeral and burial of their husband and father and public servant. And Lord, we just ask you to be with them. Lord, we lift up all our first responders, our EMT, men and women that serve and protect us around the world. Lord, we just ask you to pray from their families holidays. Lord, thank you for all these things. I pray in your precious name.
And amen.
Want to sing the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All three members present this morning for quorum. Y'all have reviewed the previous meeting minutes. If y'all are good with them, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Johnson? Changes to the agenda?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman. I believe we're ready to move forward.
No consent agenda items, so right into debate and the business.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On November the 7th, Columbia County received bids for the installation of approximately 16,000 feet of 16-inch water line that will traverse down Washington Road, up around that Flowing Road area, although we won't be getting on Flowing Wells Road. We're going to kind of come up a back way to that storage tank site we have up there at the top of the hill. Be a great source of feed for that area. We only had one bid, and it was by Beams Contracting, but it was in the amount of $2,509,691.95. I had $4 million set up for this project because we were going through so many tricky areas. So we felt like this was a really good price, and I'm going to recommend approval of that low bid, only bid.
Is this a replacement or is this new water?
Brand new line.
Move to consent.
Second.
So moved.
A week later, on November the 14th, we received bids for the painting of the equipment at the Reed Creek, Crawford Creek wastewater pollution control plants. This is the painting of the clarifiers and all those metal structures that are around there. They live in a hazardous environment, and this will give them some extra age. Low bid was submitted by DACA of Augusta in the amount of $519,727. We had $600,000 set aside, and we did get two bids on this one, so we would recommend the low bid from DACA.
What is the thing over there under the comments, apparent low?
That's before the engineers do a bid tabulation, where they go through each unit price and make sure it's all gotten multiplied out correctly.
Move to consent.
Second.
With thanks to some of the county staff who has expertise in this type of thing, we received quotes for roof replacement out there at our Clarksville water treatment plant. The low quote we received was from Hickson Roofing of Aiken in the amount of $49,900. We had this budget at $120, but what the water treatment plant people know about roof is, but we did get a lot of help from the county staff, and we appreciate that much. We'd recommend the award to the low quote of Hickson Roofing.
Move to consent.
Second.
The purchase of a telehandler, basically it's a forklift. I stuck a picture in here of it. Because the word telehandler threw me. Through our Sourcewell contract, the low quote was submitted by United Rental Company of Augusta, Georgia, in the amount of $90,178.30. We only had $85,000 budgeted for this item, but with some of the money we just saved on some of those other contracts, I think we can move $5,000 over and go ahead and purchase this piece of equipment.
Is this a new piece of equipment? Is it a replacement?
It is. We've been renting those things from spring through almost late fall, to move, activated carbon, these huge sacks of activated carbon we get in around there. And plus it'll help us unload some of the other chemicals that we get in that the boys are doing by back labor right now. And it's got tires on it that allow you to move around into gravel and the turf areas, and it's just, we probably could have already bought one by now instead of renting one. So we just felt like it was time to go ahead and put one on site.
I had to rent one at my locations. They pretty proud of them when you borrow.
But, see, now next time you need one, we'll loan you out.
No,
No, I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Ernie, where's he at? I'm just teasing.
Chris is off today, so
He's checking football scores.
Move to consent.
Second.
The next item,
said I needed one, so I guess I could have rented to you.
yeah, right.
I don't know.
this next item is the purchase of a sheet foot roller through our Georgia State contracts. The low quote was supplied by Borders Equipment Company of Augusta in the amount of $91,339.44. We had budgeted $100,000 for this, but with a lot of the work we've been doing lately, this just allows us to do the correct type of compactions that we need to do when we move soils out of an area and move it back in. We've got some smaller ones, but they take up a lot of time and manpower when you've got a big area you need to compact. So this is just adding a new piece of equipment to our construction crews that will help us do some of our jobs in a more efficient manner. And we recommend approval of that low quote.
I have a question on Clayton. Optional warranty, is that something we would do? Did the Flint, they were very, very close.
They were.
Price, like $100 and something bucks. That by any chance include a warranty or something that,
I don't think this warranty price is included in this price, is it, Mark? Wait a minute, Nick.
opted out? Okay.
One of the things we did see, though, is that Flint, I think, came in with a 2018 piece of equipment. That's what's
Was it?
quoted.
Okay, maybe,
And Border, I believe, came in with, it says new. So the 18 may be new, but it's a year old. Now, that may be a typo, but it's an 18, so they could, if they had one on the yard, that's why they could have bid it cheaper, maybe. So that was one of the reasons why we recommended it the way we did.
We don't, is for $100, I'll rather spend the money in Columbia County. Do we know the year?
But it's a year's difference. So you're buying an 18 piece of equipment for the same amount of money that we would buy a 19 piece
19.
of equipment for.
Nick,
Whatever you want
would
to
you
do.
put that on debate and let's check on that? in
Sure.
between
See if they
now-
want to give us a 19 for the same amount,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Somebody laughed. What, Michael?
He coughed.
I make a motion, we put it on debate and verify.
Second, sir. And sir, thank you for telling us what a sheep's foot roller does.
Those poor sheep.
You've seen them before, you just didn't realize it's just a round roller with the knobs that stick out.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, let me see if I've got the correct instructions moving forward here. What is it we're looking to do?
Verify equipment they're quoted.
Oh, okay,
We'll let them know before Tuesday.
okay.
So moved then.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item you have is a reappointment for the Board of Tax Assessors. The Board of Tax Assessors actually would like to recommend that Charles Sharp and Terry Randolph be reappointed to that board for a new term. Their term expires December 31st of 2019. Staff is presenting this for your consideration, the reappointment of Charles Sharp and Terry Randolph for a term of 4 years each.
Move to consent.
Second?
So move. Hello?
Morning.
Hey,
I have this next item for you. This is the fiscal year 2021 5311 Rural Transportation Program application. This is the grant we received from GDOT for our public transit system. The operating component of the grant is the same as we received in the past years, and it is a 50-50 matching grant. This fiscal year, or the 2021 fiscal year, will include a capital component. We need to replace one of our shuttle vans that has a lift. The total price of that is $45,002.92. The federal government pays 80%, the state pays 10%, and we have to pay the other 10%. And GDOT does require that when we turn in the application, we go ahead and submit payment in advance for that. So staff is recommending approval of the application with authorization to submit payment in the amount of $4,500.29, and to allow the chairman to sign the final contract once it is received, normally in the spring, I think, of next year.
move to consent.
Second?
170,000 miles, is it I'm good and all of that, just what happens, and is that our van, or is that?
It's it is GDOT's, yes,
Okay.
or the federal government. A lot of times they will allow us to purchase those vans when we turn them in for like $2,500. We've done that in the past. I've brought that to you before. But we do have a plan in place with them where they have a scheduled useful life for all the vans, and this one meets their criteria.
So move. Driver, anything?
But the day is young, right?
All right, Mr. Clayton, I think we're back to you. Report.
Yes, sir, I have for your informational purposes our budget, year-to-date budget report, and we're right on line. I know that our expenditures might look a tad low, but we have some fairly large payments that come up at the end of December that will help make that up some. I won't call it the mortgage payments, it's our revenue bond payments. Got in trouble for that. Then I have for your informational purposes, an update on our construction projects that are moving forward. Some of these projects on this list have been completed. And I just wanted to show them one more time. Next month, I'll take them off of this list and put those away as completed projects, so we can start adding some new.
How was the Clear Cut Road water project going?
I guess we're about 75% complete out there. We've gotten through the tougher areas. The telephone cables out there drove us insane. They were willy-nilly, and by law, you can't cut them. I'd love to just cut them out of the way and have them replaced. Probably would have been cheaper on us. Can't. And some power. We just had some cable issues out there, but we're out of cables now. We'll probably hit rock, but because there is some showing on the surface, but we are moving forward in a timely manner.
Well, I appreciate you addressing all of that. I know the window wasn't long on the project, so we appreciate you
And
navigating all of that.
and our employees have done just an absolute job. You ought to see it. It really looks good out there.
On the Washington, the flowing wells, did $4 million down, 2.5. Is there anything left expense-wise after this 2.5 get to 4, or we don't?
Oh, I don't anticipate that. Will we have a few change orders? You know, who knows what we're gonna run into when you actually start cutting dirt out there. And Beams is very efficient at saying, well, this will require a change order. So we just are headed through a real areas of unknown that have been established for 40, 50, 60 years, and we tried to identify as much as we could, but we'll run into some things, I feel sure. I would make one point, on our work log. We got quite a few calls in October about water bills being high. And basically, the second week in October, they cut it off because it started raining. But in that first 2 weeks of October, we pumped 123 million more gallons than we did for the full month of October last year. So up until that third week of October, we were still extremely dry and extremely warm. A lot of folks don't realize that they, as I want them to invest in that sweat equity that out there.
Oh, and I know we've discussed this. When I get my bill in October, really, I'm thinking I've cut back, and I have cut back, but
It's for August
hadn't
and
cut back when
yeah.
the bill,
It's for
so,
August and September when you get it. And you really have to look at the bill and it'll say bill period, and it'll tell you that information, but it's kind of tricky to find on the bill. One day in the far, far future from now, we'll be like Georgia Power. Georgia Power reads your bill today and you get it tomorrow, because they're on a 30-day billing cycle. We're on a 2 billing cycle. So that's the difference in behind that. That's why that time lag.
No, sir.
Commissioner or public comment? Executive session items, so I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we are adjourned at 8:47.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Clayton.
Community Emergency Services Committee, order at 8:49. We'll move right ahead to item A, approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Move to consent.
Second.
So moved. Everyone had a chance to look at the agenda. Any changes, Mr. Johnson?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
Any presentations?
No, sir.
We'll move right ahead to debate agenda. And Community and Leisure Services. Sir.
I'm gonna take this one, Mr. Chairman. The first item we have is negotiated memorandum of understanding between IAE, which is Innovative Arts and Entertainment, and the county for certain operational components of the new PAC. Staff has worked with IAE. You can see the arrangement that is there. There's no cost to the county for this agreement, for this arrangement. We've compared this to a lot of other places around the country. We're very comfortable with this arrangement, and staff's going to recommend approval.
Are we gonna have paid parking?
So if we do, it's not necessarily, but if there is an event that we do have paid parking, then they would get the percentage there. If we have no paid parking, there is no percentage that goes along with it.
Question when we did, a couple of years ago on what company or that the promoter used, as far as ticket sales and so forth. Will this be an issue or?
So, Mr. Luton and his staff have done a really good job of opening up the idea of ticket sales. This is gonna be a little bit different because under this arrangement, they're actually gonna be our booking agent for the venue. They're gonna set up their own, they will build a website for us that's specific to our venue, where you'll be able to go in and pick your seats and all that, and they'll go through their ticketing stuff. So it's gonna correspond with our things, but it's gonna be a little bit different. This venue's gotta be a little different because you get to pick a specific seat, and we don't have that currently.
Sir, as I read this, this is going to place them with the responsibility as being our agents.
They'll be the booking agent for the venue, that's correct.
All right.
And again, we own the venue. This is very much a partnership, and all the conversations we've had with them, they very much want it to be a partnership. We can pretty much do anything we want to do at our venue. They're just going to be there to assist us. And by signing this agreement, they are going to come on and help us with the finishing of the venue as well. So they're going to be our technical advisor on things that need to be done, little tweaks that need to be made for no additional cost.
So if somebody, a local whatever, wants to use it, they'll go through whoever this is?
Correct. And just so you know, this does not, and again, we've been through all the intricacies. I think I understood what the commission wanted on this particular deal. If, let's just say the Columbia County Ballet wanted to use the facility, they would be able to rent the facility. That same arrangement, they're not gonna pay this company any money. They don't get anything for that. This is for your national touring big acts. And then as discussed, they're gonna bring a large number of acts into the venue in year one, which we're not ready to really disclose that yet, but there's going to be, when we open the venue, there will be large acts that will do that.
Don't have a timeline, what we're thinking on when we'll be.
We're actually gonna start. So the touring agents are booking now for January of next year. They book a year out.
Right.
So if we can get this in place before January 1st, it's our hope to make the announcement, to do everything we need to do, and then let them go ahead and start booking something. So we'll be able to announce who our opening act's going to be in January, February of the next year when the venue opens.
Mr. Johnson, as a memorandum, you see any need to put this on the debate agenda?
There is no need to put it on the debate agenda. It can go to consent with your permission, and I would ask that it go to consent.
I'll make a motion to move to consent.
Second.
And so moved.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have, and Mr. Luton, do you have anything? I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, we have an animal services donation in the amount of $1,000 from Elizabeth Halter. Staff recommends approval.
Our thanks to her, so moved.
Chairman, can I add something there? I think it's just an appropriate time to do it.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to Ms. Glasscock, our shelter manager, this morning, and we're always very attuned to what's going on out there, and we do a great job, and our euthanasia rates are at 0, and we're a model for the entire state. But I found out today that our shelter is really at about half capacity right now. They've done such a good job of adopting animals out. We're at about half capacity, so one side doesn't have any animals. And we've also worked with a local vet that's doing spay and neuters for us at a much discounted rate. So she's picking the animals that she wants to get spayed and neutered ahead of time. These type of donations are paying for that, so the county's not paying for that. So when the animal goes out, whoever adopts the animal doesn't have the additional expense of spaying or neutering the animal. So we're really reducing the pet population by the animals that we have in the shelter, getting them out already fixed. So just want to say what an outstanding job they continue to do to make Columbia County look good. We appreciate Linda and her staff and John and his direction. Again, I can't tell you how many times I go around the state and get to tell this story and how impressed people are with Columbia County. And these type of donations help with that. So it's a really good story to tell.
Thanks for bringing that to us. That's excellent. Ms. Glasgow, are you trying to work yourself out of a job? Where do we find these people? Oh, that's excellent. Thank you very much. Mr.
Thank you.
Johnson.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your dedication. Fire and Emergency Services, or Mr. Lieutenant, do you have anything else?
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Chief?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Requesting to purchase a training learning management system, also a staffing component to that training. So it's a cloud-based software that will not only track our training for compliance with all of our requirements such as federal, state, but also extensive reporting, as well as the staffing is readily available 24/7 from anywhere. Graphical view of what our current staffing is. It'll also be available. Activations, played real-time component. But it is the only software package that also includes training, actual content, thousands and thousands of hours of federal and state approved for not only fire, but also EMS. There are individual packages that do through our MPP, Fire Rescue GPA. So we would recommend approval and authorize the item. And
An annual cost?
it is, because it's a subscription. So it is estimated based on our current number. That'll go up and down, pay for the number of employees active.
Is this going to allow you to maintain required certifications on an in-house basis?
Yes, it also has a credentialing component. So not only does the employee, but also the managers and command staff, the administration as well, exactly where each employee, and the management can see it or in every employee, and they can see it themselves. Third, relicense as well as for.
Have something a couple of weeks ago or something, and does this kind of tie together in any way, shape?
They are connected. They will share some information, like the staffing shares our CAD. So again, real time, we know where people are and what units they're assigned to, so they'll communicate. But the one a month ago was records, incident report, inspections. It's a collaboration with Human Services, Fire Marshal's office, so that when they inspect a building, likewise, if we have a response, they see it. But it is as far as functionality.
Move to consent.
Second?
So moved. Any other items added? Mr. Driver?
Good time, good time.
And Chief, you've put forth the Fire and Emergency Services summary reports. Does anyone comment on those?
Questions?
All right. Any public comments? Mr. Wilder, you're no longer public. Anything for executive session? All right. Take a motion to adjourn, and
Motion to adjourn.
so moved. Adjourn at 8:59. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you too, man.
Did he really? Oh, he's in high cotton now, ain't he? He and the wife will be fighting over that one.